Welcome to part 2 of your 2-point perspective review, and now we're going to work on to our first little 3-point perspective practice. So you guys will have a note sheet similar to this in the Google Classroom. I'm probably going to take away some of the words, and it's not going to be fill in the blank. So it's a reminder of a step-by-step procedure on how to create 3-point perspective. So I'll be referring to steps off of that sheet. It is in Google Classroom. Okay. So the first step is to draw a horizon line. We put it straight up in the center. You could always angle the horizon line. You can move it up, you can move it down. But right now it's just generic. We have 2 vanishing points. And so the first 2 vanishing points, VP 1 and 2, always go on the horizon line, which becomes the eye level, which is the viewpoint of the composition. So those 2 always stay the same. In 3-point perspective, we're going to add a 3rd vanishing point, and you can pretty much put it anywhere you want, not on the horizon line or eye level. And usually, like, you want it a little bit far from the horizon line or the eye level. So I'm going to put it like up here. So I have VP 3. For this practice, put it where I am, and then we're going to do another practice where I'll show you how to move it around, and you can have multiple 3rd vanishing points, etc. So, this is the basic, and if this works for you, just stick to it. So in 2-point perspective and beyond, so 2-point perspective, 3-point perspective, 5-point, 7-point, 9-point, 17-point perspective, whatever it is, you always, always, always start with a corner. In 2-point perspective, we just made an arbitrary corner and we made it vertical. Okay, in 3-point perspective, the corner lines up with the 3rd vanishing point. So no longer can you just randomly make corners. They have to align with the 3rd vanishing point. So I'm going to make them like slightly diagonal, I guess. And we're going to do 3 cubes, just like we did. But of course, they're going to look different. So I'm going to line up, and you can like determine the diagonalness that you want. So I'm going to do one above the horizon line. I'm going to do one, ooh, this one's going to be really extreme, above and below the horizon line, and maybe not so. We'll go this way maybe. Ooh, that's close to the edge. Any way you want it, it just has to line up with the vanishing point. And one completely below horizon line or eye level. So the corners have to line up with the 3rd vanishing point. All right, so then you're going to still do the sides to vanishing point 1 and 2. So that's the same rule from 2-point perspective. So I'm going to start with the top one. The right-hand side goes to the right vanishing point. And the left-hand side goes to the left vanishing point. Left to the left to the left. Right to the right to the right. Okay, so that stays the same. Now the cutoffs are slightly different. The cutoffs have to be parallel to the original corners in reality. But visually, they're not actually parallel because everything lines up with that 3rd vanishing point. So I'm going to do a cutoff on, I'll make it a little bit smaller, cutoff on this side. And I'll do a cutoff on this side. Okay. So I'm making like a pyramid type structure. Erase my lines of convergence I don't need. Okay, so now I have these 2 corners, and this corner is on the right-hand side of the original corner, which is this one. So therefore, I'm going to use the left vanishing point. And it would go all the way to the left vanishing point. Okay, so now this corner is on the left-hand side of this original corner. So this is my OG corner there. And I'm going to use the right vanishing point. Erase my lines of convergence I don't need. Kind of clean it up a little bit. Okay, so if I didn't line it up with this third vanishing point perfectly, I would be able to cut off and have like an angled top to see. So that's what's going to happen for these two. So because this structure is above the horizon line or eye level, we can see the underside of it. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to still line up the top and bottom with the two vanishing points on the sides. So the sides always use your original two vanishing points. Okay, and then to the left, to the left. Okay. All right, so then the cutoffs would line up with the third vanishing point. So the original corners line up with the third vanishing point, and the sides line up with the third vanishing point. I'm just going to guesstimate what I want. So in reality, these may be parallel to each other, but in three-point perspective, the corners and the sides line up with that third vanishing point. Okay, so I'm gonna erase lines I don't need. Erase my lines of convergence that line up with my vanishing points. Don't need that horizon line in the center anymore. Okay, so since that structure is above and below the vanishing point, or I'm sorry, above and below the horizon line, you can only see like the front or the sides. Okay, so now for this one. The right-hand side goes to the right vanishing point. Left-hand side goes to the left vanishing point, but I'm going to stop when I hit about the center. Okay, so now the original corner lines up with a third vanishing point. So therefore my cutoffs on the side are also going to go to this third vanishing point. And you just determine as the artist, like how angled do you want it to be. Just make sure that it lines up with the third vanishing point. Okay, so I have these extra lines of convergence after my cutoff that I don't need anymore. So now I'm going to take this corner. It's on the right-hand side of the original corner, so therefore I'm going to line it up with the left vanishing point. Also, this line right here lines up with the left vanishing point. So this backside in reality would be parallel, therefore it uses the same. Parallel, same. Okay, so then this corner is to the left of the original corner, and so therefore it uses the right vanishing point. I'm just going to erase lines I don't need. So because this structure is below the eye level, below the horizon line, I can see the top of it. So let's say we're going to do one more step. Like, what if I want to be able to see, like, I want this to like have a sunken in area, like a window or a doorway. So we're going to do one more quick step on this one, and then we'll get a little bit more complex in the next practice. Okay, so I'm going to first draw my opening. So if you recall from Art 1-2, okay, so the top and the bottom line up with the right vanishing point. So therefore, anything I draw in here, the top and bottom is also going to line up with the right vanishing point because it's on the wall or it's on that side of the structure. It uses the same vanishing point that that structure side does. Okay, so I'm going to do the, like an opening, like a window kind of. And I made sure that my line and my vanishing point were on the same side as the ruler. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go down. So I was also looking at, well, I'll explain it in a minute. Hold on. Let me do the bottom one. Okay. So you should have a slightly bigger area. Get a different color. Here compared to here, and here compared to here. Because then that's telling you how much smaller things get into the distance. And if you're a mathematician, there's definitely an equation for that the Renaissance masters tried to master. They couldn't even master 2-point perspective during the Renaissance. 2-point perspective was like 1700s, and by the time the 17 and 1800s came around, they were able to master 3 and 5 and beyond. Okay, so since the sides use the third vanishing point, this side and this side, then my cutoff sides and the inside are also going to use that third vanishing point. I'm going to draw a little bit dark so you can see it with all this highlighter happening. Darken that line for you. Always use your ruler. Okay. So that's how you would draw something on the side. So if I wanted to say I wanted to add a door on this side, or actually let me add a door on this side. So let's say I want a door. The top and bottom line up with the left vanishing point. So therefore the top and bottom of my door is also going to use the left vanishing point. It's on that wall, it's on that side, it's parallel, it's the same. So I'm just going to do like the top of the door. All right, then the sides line up with the third vanishing point. So therefore the sides of my door are also going to line up with the third vanishing point. Just double checking my spacing, double checking. Okay, so then, you know, if I wanted a window on the door, top and bottom of the window, top and bottom. Top and bottom uses the left vanishing point, same. Okay, the sides use the third vanishing point. Same. Then I would clean it up. It's to the left of the corner, so I'd be able to see like the left side of the doorknob, etc. You guys don't have to draw that part, but I do want you to add, you know, like you're adding something, like you're starting detail of a structure. In the next one, we're going to do, we're going to play around with, like, can we move the horizon line? Where can we put that third vanishing point? Can we add a second and third vanishing point, etc.? So it will get more complex after this, but congratulations on finishing part 2 of your 2-point review and your 3-point first practice. This you will take a picture of because our next practice will be on another sheet of paper, same size.